Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Batocera Nation. So delighted that you could join us. Today, we're going to do a tutorial on some of the advanced settings and features found in Batocera. In fact, I plan to do a series of these tutorials because there are some wonderful advanced features found in Batocera that most users are probably not aware of and are not taking advantage of them. So consider this volume 1 of my advanced features tutorials for Batocera. Now then, today we're going to focus on the advanced UI settings found in Batocera. And I gotta tell you that even though I'm an old timer with Batocera, I found some awesome and useful settings that I wasn't even aware of. Consequently, I believe that most of you are going to learn some new things today. Are you ready? Let's do it. Alright, so we're in Batocera. Go ahead and press start on your gamepad. Let's go to UI settings. Alright, so for the theme set, of course, so most of you know that you can pick different themes for Batocera. If you're not aware of this, then let's go ahead and go to updates and downloads. And from there, you can download different themes for Batocera. And I gotta tell you, some of these are really cool. And I've got a bunch of them actually downloaded. You can get a little brief view of some of these themes that I found about Batocera. We got a lot of talented people who have created these themes, and again, some of them just look absolutely amazing. Okay, all right. So let's go back to UI settings, and then once you pick your theme, go to theme configuration. From there, you have a whole bunch of different settings that you could play with and mess around with. So the first thing is game list view style. You can see that we have different ones right here. Let's go with the default for the time being, right? And that's the way it looks like in default. All right. Let's go back in there. UI settings, theme configuration, and let's pick game carousel. You can see there you have different views. This is the Sega Genesis view. Okay. Go back in there. You can experiment. Different themes will highlight different features. You know, not all these view style will work particularly with this theme, but in other themes they will. For example, video. If you choose video on this one, you're not going to see any difference at all. Okay. All right. Let's go back in there. Default grid size. Again, this is depending upon the theme that you're using. So for this theme, you really don't see much of a difference if you use any of these different settings. So I leave it automatic. But if you have a different theme, maybe you may want to experiment in terms of how the games appear on the screen. Logos. This one does have an impact. So we have here Club, the Batocera Club theme logos, or Classics. So let me go and choose Club. Show you the difference. That's the club logos for the different consoles. Okay, some of you may like that, but I kind of like the classic look better. I'll go back in there and logos. I pick the classics. I like that better. Okay, but it's up to you. You can choose what you want. Let's go back in there. UI settings. Now, for region, depending upon where you're playing these games. So if you're from Europe, you pick EU. You're from the US, you pick US and Japan. In fact, it was set for EU, which is European, and that was the default theme. Look at the difference. If I choose US, let's go back to Mega Drive. All right, you can see that Mega Drive now becomes Sega Genesis. In America, this is how we refer this console to, Sega Genesis. In Europe, it's known as Sega Mega Drive. Let's go back in there. Let's look at Japan. See, that looks different. The logo looks different as well. Also for the Mega CD as well. All right. So all this time I've had it on Mega Drive. I didn't realize I could have it for Sega Genesis. Go back in there. Region. I'm going to pick US. Infos. You have here also different options. Let's look at the default. If you notice that on the bottom of the screen with the frame, you'll see there it says total games 98, favorites 1. That's the game info. Games played 19. But you could also change that. UI settings, theme configuration. Let's say you don't want that. Let's just say the only thing you want is this, the manufacturer of the year of the console. Go back out, and that's what you get. See that? I kind of like the infos, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back in there. All right, buttons. This is the default buttons, and that's the button you see there on the bottom left-hand side of the screen where it says menu, search, random, select, choose files. Those are the buttons right there, and those are the help as well. So let me choose something else. You have different styles here. Xbox controller, Super NES controller, PlayStation, arcade panel. So let's say, for example, you want to use a PlayStation controller. See that, how it changes it? Okay. Or you can use Xbox controller, and that's how it looks. Back in there. Xbox One's controller, and that's how it looks. Okay, so it's up to you how you want to make it look. Let's go to arcade, and that's arcade. Let's go back in there. Kind of like, you know, I should go ahead and pick Xbox One controller. That's usually the one I use. Help. I have it set to yes. That's the default. If I choose no, this is what happens. Notice on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, I got rid of the help. I kind of like the help. But you never get rid of it. It's up to you. So let's go back in there. Yes. Game list animations. Let me show you yes, and then I'll show you the no. Okay, so let's go in there. Okay, that's the game list animation. Go back in there. In fact, let's go. Let's go back to animations to no. So as it transitions from one game to another, you can see that it's kind of instant. Okay, let's go back in there. Look at the transitions. Okay, I kind of like that better. Okay, let's go back in there. Screen ratio, depending upon your monitor, you have different options, okay? Display glass, I think there's a mistake there, right? It should say glass. You got two options, yes or no. And this also, again, depends upon the theme that you're using. This may not be found in your theme. So let me go ahead and just say yes for the time being. And this goes to this right here. Look, it has like a little reflection there on the frame right there where it says Mega Drive. You can see like a little reflection, like a glass reflection. Now, let me show you without the glass reflection. UI settings, theme configuration, and no. Got rid of it. Notice that? That frame, it doesn't look shiny anymore. Let's go ahead and put it back in there. All right, let's leave it a yes. Scratch screen. Also, these are different options. So let me show you with strong. You can see some scratches there on the frame. Look at towards the top middle portion. You can see some lines there. That's the scratch feature. Now let me go ahead and get rid of it. No. You can see that it's gone now. All right. Go back in there again. This one I have not noticed any difference, so I left it down for yes. Effect, choose. All right, so let me show you phosphorus strong. You can see there the frame there, it looks retro looking. Okay, you have different choices as well. You got vertical scan lines as well. Let me show you that. See that? The retro look on this frame. Now it's vertical. Let's go back in there again. Let's choose CRT screen look. Looks a little bit different. Okay. Let's go back in there again. Here for apply effects, you can also choose the entire screen or just the frame. So let's go ahead and choose the entire screen. So now the entire screen has that little retro look, okay? Look at the logos on the left-hand side of the screen. It's got that retro look, the scan lines. Even the fonts, it's got that look as well. Let's use this one. The entire screen. Okay? You may like that, but I don't really like that, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. Okay, fixed it. Let's go back in there again. Slide systems. Notice if I choose yes, okay. Let's go back out of here. Now look at the logos. Look at the background screen. It changes. Do you see that? Now, compare that with no. UI settings, theme configuration. No. Notice the background screen doesn't change at all. The logos change, but not the background screen. So it depends on how you like that. Now then, on a different theme, you might have different background screens. So that might be more beneficial for those type of themes. Let's go back in there again. Quality performance, this all depends on what you got. PCs and Pi 4 and more powerful systems, go ahead and choose 1080p. If you got something less powerful, then choose 720p. Backgrounds. Here we have underground, original, or mixed. So I'm going to go ahead and choose underground. Look at the background. See that background? You may like that instead. Kind of like the original better. Color set. Here we have different colors. You can pick on the color of the frame itself. So for example, let's go ahead and pick blue and yellow. Watch the frame. See that? Blue border on the frame. It's big green. See that? Makes it look different. It looks really cool. You may want to keep that. All right. Go back in there. Video origin. Okay, so you have that random video snaps or custom videos, which doesn't really work on Batocera Club. So let me show you the difference. So for Atari, right there on the frame, you can see little videos playing. That was created by the theme maker. Okay? Or you can go ahead and choose a random video snap as well. Go in there, theme configuration, and random video snaps. Now watch. So pick a random game that's got a video for it and play that instead. I kind of like the club version better. Try MAME. And there's MAME. Alright, I kind of like the club version better. Snap ratios for the video itself, put stretch. Okay. And lastly, reset customization. So let's say you kind of messed it all up, you kind of want to look like the originally looked like, you can go in here. All right. All right. Now, let's go ahead, go back in there, UI settings, and let's pick on screensaver settings. So here we have what happens to your monitor or your portable after a few minutes of not touching it or not playing with it. You can choose how long you want to have it before it turns on. Okay, and you also can choose, go 1 minute for testing purposes. I'm going for 1 minute. The behavior, you can go dim, or the screen will go black altogether, or it can pick a random video. So let's go ahead and pick random video. And remember, 1 minute, random video. And from here, you can also choose when it's going to play the next video. So I'm going to go ahead and put 10 seconds before it plays the next video. All right? Okay, let's get out of this and test it out. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward the minute itself. All right, see that? That's pretty cool. I think you had this in an arcade cabinet. This would look really great on that. All right, let's go back in there again. UI settings, screensaver settings. Again, you can do all kinds of different things here. You can stretch the video. You can mute the audio. You can even use custom views, but I haven't figured that one out just yet. Let's go back in here, and let's pick slideshow. For this, what it would do is show different images. And I'll show you that right now as well. And I'll fast forward the 1 minute. All right, I think you get the idea. Let's go back in there again, UI settings. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pick dim for myself. Transition style. You've got here different styles right here. Let's go ahead and pick fade. Notice that when I go into the actual game list itself, all right? See how it fades right there? Fades right there again. Go back in there. Slide. Slide. And let's go back in there. Fade in, slide. Or instant. All right. I kind of like. Leave it auto. Game launch transition. Just pick fade. Show you the difference. That's fade when it launches the game. Go in there again. Slide. See how I slide right there? Get out of the game. Go in there again. You also have instant. See that? I happen to like the auto, which does that slide and fade. All right. Show clock. You can see that on the top right hand side of the screen, my clock is there in terms of time. You can turn that off if you want to. That's off. Go back in there again. Show clock. Turn it on. Now it's set automatically to default military style time. You can change that as well. So go into system settings and then go into show clock 12-hour format. Turn that on, it will get rid of the military style, okay? Which is the way I like it. And you also have here the time zone. So you pick your time zone depending upon where you live, all right? I happen to live in Texas, so I picked Chicago right there. Language, of course, you can choose, your language. All right. Let's get back out of here. Let's go back into UI settings. And that shows you clock. On-screen help. Let me go ahead and turn that off. Look at the bottom left-hand side of the screen where it says close, change, back, and choose. Go ahead and turn it off. It's gone. Okay. Go back in there again. You can choose yes. All right. Show favorites on top. I kind of like that feature, so let me show you the difference. Go back out of here. All right, so there's Sonic right there. All right, hold down the A button on your gamepad, and you can see there has this section that says Collections, Add to Favorites. So let's say it's one of my favorite games in this console. Go ahead, and it's added right in there. Now, let's go back to the UI settings, and show favorites on top. So I'll put it on top of the list when you get into the console. Watch. And there it is, right on top of the list, okay? Now, if you get rid of this, it will put it in its normal location. So if you want all your favorites on top of the console, go ahead and choose that. Show hidden files. Yeah, leave that off. You don't really need to see that. Show folders, also like to have it choose never. Show parent folder, also have it to never. Show language, flag, and list. That will show you the region of the game itself. So let's say you want to choose yes. You can choose it before the name or after the name. Let's go to after the name. Let's check it out. You can see there, this is the American version. Okay. You really can't see it too well with this, so let's go ahead and choose the UI settings. Let's go back to theme configuration. Let's go back to automatic. You have a better view that way. And there, now you can see there that all these versions right here are American. Okay, so depending upon the region of the game again, you'll have different flags. All right. You can see the two for favorites. It's got a star right next to it. That's one of my favorite games. Let's put it on top and give it also a star. Let's go back to UI settings. Want to get rid of that? Yeah. Show save states flag and list. This will show you which games have a save state in them. So go ahead, if you want to say yes, go ahead and click on it. Now you can see there it's got an icon. It's got a little diskette icon. And that tells you, you know what, this game has a save state. All right, let's go back in there. Let's go ahead and turn this off. Show manual icon in list. Let's go ahead and choose that one. You can see here, it's got a little, like a little book. That's the manual, which means this particular game has a manual for it. So hold down the A button, and right there, View Game Manual. Click on that, and you can see the game manual. You can use the gamepad to control the selection of the pages. Pretty cool, huh? Now, to download the game manual, press the start button on your gamepad, go to Scrape. Now then, the only one that has this option is Screen Scraper. Okay, you can see there, you got to select it from here. So if you go into Scrape now, it's going to try to find all the manuals for the games that you have in your console. It may not find all of them, but it'll find some of them. Okay, so if you turned it off and you like to have those manuals, you like to see and check it out, then go ahead and select it. All right, let's get out of this. Let's go back to UI settings. Show file names and list. This will show you the original name of the file as you have it stored in your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and show file names. Let me choose. I'm going to go ahead and choose the Switch console so you can see the difference. So notice that Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel, that's the way I have the file name for that particular game. If I turn that off, it's going to show me the scrape name of the game. And of course, that looks better. All right. Now, I should also point out that different themes may have different UI settings. So let me go ahead and show you, for example, a different theme. Let's go to this one here. It's one of my favorite themes as well. So you notice, for example, on the right-hand side screen, you got the consoles list, okay? You can see that it almost has a see-through. You can see the background as well, right? Now, let's go into UI settings. Let's go to theme configuration. Go to theme backgrounds. And you can also choose opaque. Watch. Notice that the background is no longer there. Going to UI settings, theme configuration, and again you have different effects here that may not be found on another theme. For example, on this one here, you also have for the game list backgrounds, you have two different colors, light or dark. So let's go ahead and choose light. Let's go in there. This is the light version. Let's go back in there and choose dark. And dark. See that? Has a dark view. Okay? So again, depending upon your theme, you may have different settings that you may want to mess around and play with. Okay? So don't be afraid to experiment because you might find some really cool features for your theme. Alright? Okay, so that is a wrap. If you found this video useful, please go ahead and like it. That would really help me out with the YouTube algorithm. So this is your first time watching Batocera Nation, I highly encourage you to go to our website at batoceranation.com, and that will give you a great overview of what Batocera is all about and whether Batocera is something you may want to use for your emulation needs. I think it happens to be a great and wonderful emulation operating system you're going to absolutely love. Allows you to play retro games and Steam games as well as Windows games as well. All right. So for my next tutorial, I'm going to do another advanced feature settings as well. In fact, I've got a lot of requests about game collections. So I want to cover that for my next tutorial. So you don't want to miss it. If in fact you're not a subscriber, you might want to consider subscribing. In either case, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Batocera Nation. Bye.